That single piece you eat at a sushi restaurant contains 2,000 years of human history and wisdom. Worldwide, it's known as sushi. We naturally think of sushi as Japanese food, but its actual origin lies much further south in the Mekong River basin of Southeast Asia. But there's an even more surprising fact. Sushi back then wasn't fresh fish eaten immediately as it is now, but rather a preserved food fermented for several months to a year. In fact, people at the time didn't even eat the rice, they threw it away. So how did sushi evolve into what we know today? Let's trace that journey. About 2,000 years ago, people in the Mekong River basin region of Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar faced a serious problem. They constantly worried about how to preserve the fish they caught in a tropical climate without refrigeration technology or even ice. In an environment where fish caught in the morning would spoil by evening, they discovered a remarkable solution. The method was simple: clean the fish, salt it, then store it in jars with rice, pressing it down with stones. During fermentation lasting several months to a year, something magical happened. Why did they add rice? Rice was a tool for fermentation. As the rice naturally fermented, lactic acid bacteria formed a type of bacteria called lactobacillus. That lowers pH levels and prevents the growth of putrefactive bacteria. During fermentation, the rice's carbohydrates were consumed and it broke down completely, leaving only the fish edible. Being able to preserve fish for a year in an era without refrigeration was remarkable survival technology. Just as kimchi was fermentation technology for surviving Korea's long winters, sushi was fermentation technology and wisdom for the survival of Southeast Asian people. This fish fermentation technique also spread to the Yangtze River area in China. The ancient Chinese agricultural text, Qimen Yaoshu, contains records stating, if you salt fish and store it with rice, it can be preserved for a long time. As rice farming culture spread, this fish fermentation technique naturally moved along with it. It was useful technology anywhere there was rice and fish could be caught. Korea also has its own variation called sikhae from the Hamgyong province region. Flounder is cleaned, salted, then mixed with millet rice, garlic, ginger, red pepper powder, and malt powder, placed in jars and fermented. This food fermented until the rice tastes like vinegar appears in Joseon-era texts like Donggwabogum and Kyuhapsangsa. What's interesting is that in the north, fermented fish was collectively called sikhae. This is completely different from sikhae, the sweet beverage from southern Korea, but the etymology is the same in that fermentation is fundamental. Ultimately, the fermentation technique that began in Southeast Asia was transmitted to Korea via China. Around the 8th century, this culture of fermenting fish and rice crossed over to Japan. This became narazushi, the direct ancestor of Japanese sushi. When eating it, they would brush off the completely decomposed rice and eat only the fish, calling this han-nare. During the Nara period, it was fermented for several months to a year and was precious enough to be offered as tribute to the imperial court. In fact, funazushi from Shiga Prefecture, which evolved from this fish fermentation tradition using crucian carp, is still made in the traditional way today, with a fermentation period of over a year and such a distinctive smell that even among Japanese people, opinions are sharply divided. But the first major change occurred in Japan. Because rice was precious, people began eating the rice together with the fish instead of throwing it away. Namana-rei emerged, where fermentation was stopped midway to eat the rice together. From this point, sushi began evolving from food that preserves fish for eating to food that combines rice and fish. The word sushi is a combination of su and meshi. Translated, it means vinegar and rice. Sushi refers to dishes enjoyed by placing seafood, eggs, or vegetables either cooked or raw as neta toppings on slightly sweet vinegared rice, also called shari. In the late 1600s, during the mid-Edo period, a more groundbreaking change occurred. As rice vinegar became commonplace, people realized, do we really need to wait several months? Couldn't we eat it immediately if we replaced the sour taste from lactic acid fermentation with vinegar? As demand for narazushi increased, the long fermentation cooking method couldn't keep up with supply, so the Japanese created hyazushi, fast, instant sushi made with vinegar treatment. Here, we need to understand the social background of the Edo period. When the shogunate moved the capital from Kyoto to Edo, it implemented the Sankin Kotai system, forcibly summoning feudal lords to Edo. Sankin Kotai was a system where the shogun, head of the Edo shogunate, made daimyo lords, who ruled domains alternate between Edo and their territories to control regional power and burden them with costs to suppress rebellion. Because of this, Edo overflowed with merchants and artisans called chonin. Thus, large quantities of meals had to be quickly provided to these people in cramped spaces, leading to the emergence of yatai or food stalls. Sushi naturally joined this trend and became, in modern terms, fast food. The sushi we know today appeared in the early 19th century, finally born in Edo, now Tokyo. A street vendor named Hanaya Yohei developed nigirizushi, serving fresh fish placed on vinegared rice immediately. This was possible because Edo's proximity to the sea allowed quick access to fresh raw fish. Nigirizushi was revolutionary. It could be made and eaten on the spot without fermentation or waiting. Because it was cheap and fast, it became explosively popular among Edo residents. At the time, nigirizushi wasn't fine restaurant food but street vendor food. In today's terms, it was fast food like a street hamburger. Sushi using seafood caught in Tokyo Bay near Edo gained fame as Edo-mei sushi. The simple combination of fresh fish, vinegared rice, and wasabi to remove fishy odors was perfect. What's interesting is that early sushi was much larger than today's version. It was about the size of a rice ball, and because it was eaten as a full meal. The neta on top was very thick and there was a lot of rice, requiring at least 2 bites to eat. The rice was seasoned only with salt, making it salty, and the sourness came from the fish's fermentation process. Edo-mei sushi used warm, sticky rice different from the cold, firm sushi popular in Korea today. Meanwhile, the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake brought unexpected results. As many Tokyo sushi artisans scattered throughout Japan due to the earthquake, Edo-mei sushi techniques spread nationwide. From this time on, the perception that sushi is Japan's representative food became firmly established. The transition to today's smaller sushi size began with the Pacific War. When the post-war food situation reached its worst, Prime Minister Katayama Tetsu issued the Emergency Food Service Order in 1947, halting all restaurant operations. Then sushi shop owners used a loophole, claiming that if they received rice from customers and made it into sushi, it was food processing service, not restaurant business. The government tacitly approved this but mandated making 10 pieces of nigirizushi from one go of rice, causing sushi to become smaller and standardized. In 1958, another innovation occurred in Osaka. Shiriishi Yoshiaki, who ran a sushi restaurant in Higashi Osaka, opened the world's first conveyor belt sushi restaurant. He was inspired by seeing a conveyor belt at an Asahi beer factory, but when he asked engineers for help and was refused. He researched on his own for 5 years to find the most ideal conveyor size, shape, speed, and direction for a sushi restaurant. The system of sushi rotating on conveyor belts lowered prices and increased accessibility. Anyone could enjoy sushi without burden. After World War II, during Japan's high growth period, sushi began crossing borders. In the 1970s, Japanese restaurants opened in Los Angeles and New York, and sushi was perceived as health food and sophisticated cuisine. A sushi craze swept through as Hollywood stars frequented sushi restaurants. As celebrities like Robert De Niro and Madonna were shown eating sushi in the media, it instantly became trendy food. However, Westerners initially faced a challenge. They felt resistance to raw fish, the black color of seaweed, and ocean smells. The solution came in 1963 when sushi chef Mashita Ichiro created the California roll at Tokyo Kaiken, in Little Tokyo, Los Angeles. His solution was innovative. He used terabagani leg meat, added avocado and mayonnaise, and most importantly, hid the seaweed on the inside so the black color wasn't visible. The California roll was a huge success and spread throughout the United States by the 1980s, becoming known worldwide. Sushi now transcended being Japanese food to become a creative culinary platform for the world. Each country began creating their own sushi. Currently, sushi is evolving uniquely around the world. Following fire-seared sushi and cheese sushi came Mexico's taco sushi and jalapeno rolls, Europe's truffle sushi, and foie gras sushi, Brazil's tempura rolls, and the Middle East's halal sushi. In Peru, Japanese immigrants even created unique fusion sushi combining ceviche and sushi as part of Nikkei cuisine. Sushi's global success can be attributed to three key factors. First is the simple combination of rice, fish, and vinegar. Second is the healthy cooking method that doesn't involve frying or grilling, minimizing nutrient destruction. Third is pleasing the eye through various shapes, colors, and arrangements. These three elements precisely matched modern people's pursuit of minimalism, healthy food, and visual trends. It was the perfect food for the Instagram era. In the 21st century, sushi combined with new technology. Sushi robots automatically make uniform-sized and shaped sushi. Conveyor belt systems in revolving sushi restaurants became sophisticated. And AI ordering systems were introduced. At Japanese sushi chains, when you order via touchscreen, sushi is automatically delivered to your table. Sushi became both a symbol of the cutting-edge food service industry and, culturally, a global language. In New York, it's a symbol of business lunch, in Paris it's fashion food, in Seoul it's emotional gastronomy, and in Tokyo it's an expression of craftsman spirit. Thus, the sushi we enjoy today is the result of fermentation technology from the Mekong River basin of Southeast Asia being transmitted to China, Korea, and Japan, ultimately combined with fast food innovation from Japan's Edo period. Sushi is fermentation technology for survival, cultural transmission that moved with rice farming, creative innovation that blossomed in Japan, and a product of globalization reinterpreted by each country. The message conveyed by sushi's history is clear: food has no borders, and cultures don't exist in isolation but evolve by influencing each other. The reason sushi, which began with Southeast Asian fermentation, survived while captivating the tastes of gourmets worldwide is that it embraced tradition while constantly changing and adapting to save time. Could those who stored fish with rice in jars along the Mekong River basin 2,000 years ago to preserve it have imagined their method would one day conquer the world? Could Hanaya Yohei, the Edo street vendor in the 1820s, have dreamed that his instant sushi would become haute cuisine eaten by Hollywood stars 150 years later? One person's small idea spreads across time and space, transforming and evolving. When you consider that within one piece of sushi lies the wisdom of Mekong River fishermen, Chinese farmers' preservation techniques, Korean Hamgyong province sikhae recipes, Japanese artisan innovation spirit, and American chef creativity all together, sushi is both Japanese food and simultaneously humanity's shared heritage. Thank you for watching. Your subscriptions, likes, and notifications mean a great deal to me.